What's up, you guys? Adam here with Anabolic Climbing, and today it's time for another Natty or Not. This time with a Mr. Ben Galper. You might know him as Hercules. We have seen him on Magnus Midbow's channel for a couple of videos. He's been reviewed by Dr. Mike Israetel. Honestly, this guy is a powerhouse and a half, but the question is he natty or not? And you guys came to the right place. I am the anabolics expert in rock climbing, and today we're going to figure out, is Mr. Ben Galper natty or not, what I think he takes. So, if you guys like this stuff, please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and alert. Helps the channel out tremendously. And let's get into some of Ben's lifts, some of his stats, and figure out what this guy's working with. And compare him to some of the other folks we've reviewed on this channel so far. So, number one, Ben, I believe, is between 5'7 and 5'8 and weighs 165. And he's a pretty lean 165, probably between like the 9 to 12% body fat range. This dude is definitely lean, has visible abs, even showing into his lower abs. Dude is strong as a horse, too. Let's get into some of his lifts. Obviously, him pulling 306 pounds on a 30 mil edge is pretty inconceivable to me. I do not understand how to make sense of the kind of strength that this dude's fingers are capable of. It would be really cool to watch him and Yves Graval go back and forth at some point, but I have never seen another person do this on a 30 mil edge. Also, this dude is like rowing 120 pounds on a 1-inch dumbbell, which is nuts. But what about some of his regular feats of strength, right? Right now, we're seeing him do 5 plates. I believe that is 450. Maybe a little bit more because it's an axle bar. Crazy work, but not in the realm of what would be considered unnatural. Obviously, from a grip perspective, 475. From a grip perspective, insanely impressive. But deadlifting 475 at 165 isn't that nuts. On the other hand, let's compare that to a 700-pound so this isn't an axle bar. This is, it's elevated. I think it's called an axle deadlift, not an axle bar, but an axle deadlift. 700 pounds is pretty darn crazy. I believe the world record for this weight class is 766. So this is not like world record contention, and obviously it's a slightly easier range of motion. But like, don't misunderstand. This is an extraordinarily impressive lift. Even if he was able to do 600 or 650 as a conventional deadlift, that would still be bananas in terms of overall raw strength. So obviously Ben is super strong. It's not just his grip. But again, nothing that's like immediately drawing red flags here. Next up, let's look at a slightly assisted squat for what looks like somewhere between 450 to 475. Woof. That is pretty brutally impressive. I believe the world record squat for his weight is around 600-ish. 691. All right. So again, brilliantly strong, still absolutely natty achievable for a dude that likes to throw weight around. Next up, another one of his ridiculously heavy deadlifts with weird grips. Some DMs we don't need to get into just yet. So, all right, let's talk about the eye test now. Ben at 165, definitely lean, but I would still probably say 6 to 8 weeks out for a bodybuilding show. Obviously, in downlighting, you can see abs, you can see some shoulder striations, but like at 165, we're not talking like crazy peeled inside out. This dude could probably lose 10 pounds to get on a bodybuilding stage. Still incredibly jacked, but definitely within the realm of natty achievable. Doesn't have any red flags on the BMI. And next up, I want to look at the veins on this guy. Definitely has a couple of pipes. I think he could do a better job getting some more vascularity if he were to just restrict the blood flow from the lat a little bit more. I think he could do better. But honestly, I know this is going to sound crazy. I think that he would benefit from, and I even said this in my comment here if you're close enough to read it, that if this dude popped a little bit of Cialis, I think he could get way better vasculature. And I'd have to say that just looking at his veins, and you might find this hard to believe, honestly looking pretty natty from a vein perspective. Ben outlifts me like a motherfucker and has bigger forearms and biceps than me. But despite weighing 10 pounds more than me, and I'm pretty sure I've got this dude beat as far as like overall vasculature. And a lot of that comes down to the testosterone that I really enjoy pinning, as well as some of the other anabolics that I run. Although I also have although I will say that the two veins that he has that are absolutely flowing like snakes, I have two of those as well. And like, yeah, pretty darn impressive. So all in all, everything that I am seeing out of Ben is otherworldly as it relates to grip, as it relates to strength. But still, we're talking like semi-pro to pro powerlifter, but not like world-shattering as it relates to powerlifting. If we're talking about as it relates to climbers, yeah, this dude is absolutely in a league of his own. But, and even with a lot of his feats of strength for grip, I don't know of anyone else in the weight class that is doing what he's doing in grip. It's basically him and Yves Graval. Does that mean that I think he's natty or not? Well, some of us have some inside info on this. So I've actually reached out to Ben a couple times. He lives not too far from me. I'm in LA and he's in Long Beach. And at some point or another, I'd love to go down there and climb with him and lift with him. But we've had discussions about PEDs a little bit back and forth. And when the Lattice drama came down, I was picking his brain over his thoughts on ethics. And he shared some info with me. So if you guys don't know, one of his main training partners is juiced to the gills. Sweaty Mike, doesn't hide this, is absolutely saucy as a mofo. Also beat drug addiction, which is fucking dope. Shout out to the sober folks. And Sweaty Mike is on a gang of drugs. Is Ben on a gang of drugs? So I think Ben spoke about this on the Magnus video, but he's actually had some stomach issues, particularly with ulcerative colitis. And between that and some nagging injuries that he's gotten over the course of getting utterly fucking jacked, he's actually needed to do some recovery, and he has taken BPC 157 before. I believe he's mentioned this publicly to the point where fellow climbing started blasting the ever-living crap out of him, and he had to block him. But how do I know about this drama? Am I like terminally online? Yes, I am. But also Ben told me. We had an opportunity to speak a few times, and he said flat out, yeah, fellow climbing, he got on my ass when I made a video about me when I did BBC. I blocked him because I don't give a fuck about that bullshit. What's your take on it? And yeah, just so we are clear, I am a huge fan of fellow climbing, and I think that he is a prolific shit poster. But we're going to have to call BPC 157 half natty. Do I think that that is all Ben is taking? I'm going to take him at face value on this one, in part because I'm friendly with him, but also when we've spoken about other drugs, he's consistently not really known what I'm talking about. We mentioned HCG. We mentioned at one point GH, and he's like, yeah, at some point or another, I definitely want to. And I think at some point, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, we could see Ben getting absolutely saucy. He's expressed interest on it, but the answer doesn't seem to be yet. I know some of his training partners are huge fans of Anadrol. I would not take Anadrol if I were him. I think with the ulcerative colitis, that would be an absolute fucking disaster for him. But I think if Ben ran some test, some GH, he could probably... I don't know if I would run Anavar if I were him. I would probably keep it test, mast, GH, and I would do some injectable testosterone as my pre-workout because I think orals would fuck with him super hard. And I bet we could get very close to some elite level powerlifting stats and do some crazy stuff with his fingers. I think that combination in particular would do super, super well for him. And it would also be really fun to throw another 10 to 15 pounds on Ben's frame and just have him moving like an absolute menace through the gym and also doing some really wild campusing stuff. All in all, though, whether Ben decides to get more enhanced or stay as a half natty, dude is an absolute legend, and you should follow him. God knows I do. His work is pretty prolific, and I will be cheering for this dude. I will also try some of his sets because they're not too far away from me. So regardless, just wanted to give you guys the update. We're going to confirm that Ben Galper is half natty, and I am Adam with Anabolic Climbing. Wishing you guys good luck, happy lifting to the folks like Ben, and happy sending. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.